We're in for another treat as we're almost near the end of the year. It's wild to think by the time this episode drops, Thanksgiving is right around the corner. And then after that, you know what that means. It's more holiday fun. And 2025 is almost done. But we still got a lot of good conversations to get to, including our one here tonight. She's a country artist. Her self titled EP Bells is out now, along with her holiday EP, Bells on Bells. Very clever there as well. A little wordplay there. Let's welcome in country artist Bells.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here tonight.
I appreciate you joining and now is that your last name? Is that your I know that's your artist name and we'll get a little deep diver in, but that's not exactly what you go by day to day, correct?
Yeah, my first name is Kelly. So I answer to Kelly, I answer to Bells, I answer to KB, I answer to Kelly Bells. Whatever you want to call me is totally good with me.
Well, good to know. Now we're here to have a drink and to have a good conversation. So I got to ask you, this is Bar Conversations. What's your go-to drink, or at least what are you drinking tonight?
Um, I do like craft beer. I'm kind of a craft beer girl, and this is a little special because
Mhm.
I played a show in Wilmington, North Carolina about 2 months ago, and the venue sent me home with a ton of craft beer, which was awesome. So I've been keeping these in my fridge, and I've only been drinking them on special occasions, but I thought I'd bring one out for tonight. So this is a Waterway IPA, and it's from Wrightsville Beach Brewery. It's very cool.
I
It's
love that.
very delicious, and I've really been enjoying these beers, and it makes me want to go back to Wilmington to see what else they got there. But
I was
yeah,
gonna
that's a
say, I
little
mean, you just have to make sure your touring agent or yourself can get you back down that way, right?
for real.
Somehow, some way, you just always end up near there that you just got to drive through.
Yeah, no, they also have, it's a cider, but it's a lavender lemonade cider those are all gone because I drank all of those.
Those ones didn't last very long. You're like, I can't hold on to
No,
these that long. That
yeah,
is fair.
those are such easy drinking that those went pretty fast. But the IPAs, I do like an IPA. It's not maybe my normal beer that I pick, but these are really good. I do really like them. Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Now, if you can't get yourself a craft beer, do you dabble in anything else? Because I know you have a song where you mentioned you may have a drink of tequila every now and then.
If I am drinking, um, you know, spirits, I guess, as you would say, I do drink tequila. That is my choice. If someone's like, I'm gonna buy you a shot, it's usually tequila for me. Not a huge vodka girl. I used to drink a lot of whiskey, like in college. That kind of did me in. So, not that I do drink whiskey every once in a while. You know, being a country artist, you have to every once in a while drink whiskey. But if I my drink of choice is usually a beer, a glass of white wine, or some kind of tequila drink. Yeah, but that is true. And now at some of my shows, people will come up bringing me shots of tequila because of that song, which, I'm very happy about. So, yeah.
Well, in honor of that, I decided to kind of do my best to mix both of
Oh,
them. A little El Mayor tequila extra añejo aged in bourbon barrels for like 3 years. So,
no way.
yeah,
That sounds
it's
delicious.
it is a fantastic pour. So I had to break that one out. This one doesn't come out very often either. So I was like, I gotta get both in there. So
Well, I'm
that's what
honored.
that's what I've got now. You know, you do this music thing too. I know you enjoy a good drink. I feel like a lot of artists enjoy at least a drink of something. Um, but you grew up in a musical family, am I correct? Your grandmother was
Mhm.
a jazz singer. Your mother was in a band. What was it like being surrounded with that much music?
It was awesome. Especially because really from day one, I just loved it. And that was like when I was in kindergarten, I wrote down that I wanted to be a singer when I grew up because everyone in my family was just constantly singing. I do think that they, in some ways, made it seem really possible and maybe like not easier than it is, but I just think if I grew up in a family of, dentists, I probably wouldn't have been like, oh, I can be a singer. You know what I mean? Like, I think that was just something interesting that I grew up with was just always the thought in my head that, oh, someday I'm gonna, move to Nashville and write songs and sing. And my whole family's been so encouraging and awesome and wonderful along this journey because they went through it themselves. And I learned a lot watching, especially my mom's band. They were signed to MCA in the 90s. So they had like a top 25 pop hit. So, I got to see some of their success. I was like a baby at the time, but still, it was just cool being surrounded by this industry, and I learned a lot about it from probably a younger age than most people.
But I know too, in addition to being surrounded by it, you and your mom played some shows and did some stuff there for a little while too. What was that like?
It was awesome. I mean, so if you can imagine, like, I was in middle school doing show choir and doing theater and just loved music and loved singing. And my mom, she was kind of writing her own songs and playing little shows around Nebraska. And I just basically said, hey, can I get up and sing some harmony to your songs? And she was like, I mean, sure, I guess. And then it just kind of started super organically. And I just loved being on stage, and being on stage with her was so much fun. And kind of got to, learn the ropes a little bit in a very like safe environment with my mom. So yeah, it was awesome. And her and I are so close, and she is like the most supportive person of me and my whole career, and I'm so grateful for her. But yeah.
Well, and for someone that grew up around a family of musicians, like you said, your mom was more in the pop world. Like I said, your grandmother was jazz. What music did you grow up on then? Was it just a little bit of everything?
It was, but my mom loved country music. That was kind of like her like guilty pleasure type thing. So that really was what was playing in my house, which I think is why I went to this direction. Like, I grew up playing the Chicks and Shania and like early Miranda Lambert and stuff like that. Like that was really what was going on when I was a kid, and I think that was just my favorite genre since I was a kid, really. Yeah.
Well, and you grew up in Nebraska, which I'm assuming there's a few country stations out there. What impact did that have on you, just whether it was musically or just in life in general?
Yeah, I mean, Nebraska is really, country music is a huge part of just life in Nebraska, especially in the western part of the state. I grew up in Omaha, which is the big city in Nebraska. But still, though, I mean, country radio was constantly on. That was like, I don't even really know growing up if I knew there was like other stations. Like that was just, yeah, Cat 103 was just like the station that we listened to all the time in the car, going to school, all of that. So I definitely, the radio it's, even though we have Spotify now and all of that, you can't, the radio is a big part of people's lives, especially in the more rural communities. And I will always remember that going forward. But yeah.
Well, and when did you kind of mentioned, you were kind of wanting to get up on stage with your mom. When did you really think like, hey, I kind of want to perform and maybe get into this a little bit?
Well, I give my mom credit because she basically like put me in every sort of activity possible. I think she honestly was hoping that I wouldn't choose this path because, she endured a lot of heartbreak in the music industry. And, I was in soccer, I was in karate, I was in swimming, I was in basketball, I was in all of these things, and I just always was drawn to like I loved dance growing up. I loved just like tap dancing, and then eventually I started like doing community theater, and that just like stuck with me. And I think my mom was like begrudgingly like, all right, I guess we're going this way. I tried to get you to do other things, but that's okay. This is what you love, so we're just gonna have to go with it.
Now, did you love any of the other things at all, or was it always kind of at the end music pulled you back?
Yeah, I am very uncoordinated. I don't enjoy sports. I hate to tell you guys this, except for the Huskers. Go Huskers. I don't enjoy sports. I was really bad in like every other activity. And I remember like I scored a goal in the other team's goal and the soccer team, and then I quit the next day because I was like so embarrassed. Like it was bad. I'm just never. I just this is like the only thing that I can do. Like really. So yeah.
I have a feeling you have other talents. I have a feeling you have other talents, but no, I understand. There's just things you're drawn to, and that you really
Yeah.
enjoy. And now I say that, but you took a short hiatus from music. You also didn't like school, I guess, and we're like, I'm going to get out of here early. Then I'm going to go to college because that's a great idea. If you didn't love school, go right to college. But you wanted to be a doctor and go down the chemistry pre med route.
Yeah, I will say when I said that this is the only thing I could do, I was thinking in my head that's not exactly true because I was really good at math, in science. That was like I don't know what is going on in my brain, but it was just always came really easily to me. And I wasn't a huge fan of high school, so I graduated when I was 16. I just took a bunch of extra classes and got out of there. And then I went straight into college at 17. I was a chemistry major for 2 years, and was I was good at it. I just didn't enjoy it. Like I was doing well, but at the same time, I was playing shows on the weekends. I was making, a trip or two to Nashville to kind of poke around and see if that's something that I wanted to look into doing. Or, I was just not, my heart just wasn't in it. And after my sophomore year finals, I kind of had this come to Jesus moment with my mom and my grandma. And I was basically just like, I can't do this anymore. Like, this is just not for me. So, yeah, it was pretty much that night we kind of decided that I was going to move to Nashville and started looking at apartments and just signed a lease and moved like a month later. So it's kind of nuts. Yeah.
I was gonna say that's wild, but like you said, you knew all along that that was something you loved. Like you said, you're growing up, your mom put you in other activities, you still kept going back to it. You tried something else, still kept going back to it. I mean, what was it like though to make that leap and go to Nashville full time? Because that's not easy either, and that can be kind of scary, especially at a young age.
Yeah,
Or
it was
were you maybe a little naive and just it was all rainbows?
no, it was totally terrifying. It was yeah, it was awful. But I was just so scared. I mean, I literally was like freaked out to drive on the interstate and because it's just so much bigger than Nebraska and I didn't know anyone. Like I literally didn't know one person. So I didn't even know like where to start. Like I kind of had heard about like writers rounds, so then I just started going there and trying to like, you know, make friends and try to play. And I mean, it was really like starting from ground zero, which the first couple years here were they were really hard. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it was hard to make friends and hard to figure this stuff out and but now I am like so grateful that I stuck it out because I like love my life here and I've absolutely love what I'm doing and the people that I get to work with. So it totally was the right decision. And I think I kind of always knew that in my heart, but it definitely was tough and had a lot of low moments of like, am I doing the right thing? Should I stay in school? Like by now I could be making like a lot of money and I'm like still here. You know what I mean? Like it was sometimes like, you second guess yourself, but I think in my heart, I always knew that if I just stuck it out, things would, eventually turn around and yeah.
Well, and they did, and as you know, music was always going to keep calling you, so you might as well at least give it that shot.
Yeah.
Now, like we said at the start, Bells is your last name.
hmm
Kelly's your first name. Why did you decide to go with Bells and let that become your stage name?
So this is a long story. I'm going to tell you in the shortest possible way how this happened. So when I was singing with my mom, we were called Bells and Whistles, which is a very cute name. Loved it. But then as things progressed, we just changed it to Bells. Also because I was doing a lot of my own music um, in Nashville and not always with my mom. So we just kind of thought it would be easier to just call it Bells because then I can be Bells or we can be Bells, whatever we want to do. And then at a certain point, my mom kind of decided to take a step back, and I just took over the name Bells. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I've thought about changing it to Kelly Bells a lot of times, but um, it's really hard to change your name. I've learned, especially on like streaming platforms. So I don't, and I don't want to lose my past history of music. So I have just committed to being Bells, and I think it works. Once people get used to it, it works. But it is a little bit, interesting because it is plural. But I get it, you know.
Hey, it is a-okay, and it also lets you have some fun play on words, as we learned, and we'll get into that. But I mean, like for you, like you said, you learned that, but that journey in Nashville, how important was it to have family that had gone through this fun thing that we call the music industry? As everyone knows, it's just so easy and nothing ever goes wrong in it. Um, you know,
Yeah.
what was it like to at least have them, like when you were having those moments, to at least lean on or remember back to the things they went through and how they were able to still come out on top and have some good things happen?
Yeah, I mean that was huge. It's interesting because, even though my family was in music, like my grandma was a jazz singer in Chicago and my mom's band they were based out of LA. So no one had really ever in my family ventured to Nashville really at all. So in that way, it was a new experience for everyone. But at the same time, like there were so many times where I would just ask them for advice or like, what do I do with the situation? And they both, my mom and my grandma gave me a lot of great advice. And it was actually my grandma's idea for me to start booking my own headlining tours about 2 years ago. And I didn't really know that I could do that. I thought that was kind of like, I just thought if you're not with like CAA or WME, you don't really get to tour. But you can, it turns out. And I am, and I still am, booking my own headlining tours. And doing that has totally changed the trajectory of my career. So, stuff like that where, my grandma's, I don't think she's ever even been to Nashville, but she, just from her life, she was able to give me a lot of great direction. Yeah, when I was kind of stuck, but yeah.
And now you can make sure you can always go back near Wilmington.
Exactly. And get more craft beers.
Well, and I love that. And you've had success on top of like you talk about good things that have happened lately. Some of those are you signed a global record deal with East Music Row Records and a publishing agreement with Deluge Music. Both pretty major career milestones. What were those moments like? Because I'm guessing for you, as someone that's been working very hard at it, those were some validating moments that are nice when they come along.
Oh yeah, I mean that was a huge milestone because I've been working towards that for years, and I had so many almost deals that almost happened and didn't, and I was just now I look back and I'm so glad that I ended up where I'm at because it really is like the perfect place for me, and I absolutely love my team there. And it was also just very organic. Like I started writing with this guy, Johnny Gates, and who I've known Johnny for like 5 years, just around Nashville, but we just had never written together. And we started writing, and then everything started turning out great. And then he was like, "Can I play this for my publishing team and my label?" And I was like, "Sure." And then, a couple months later, I, decided to sign there, and it has just been such a great fit. I am so grateful that I ended up at this spot, and yeah, it's definitely like lifelong dream for sure. Yeah.
Well, and we'll get to Johnny in a moment, but since you signed those deals in September, you released your self-titled EP, Bells. What was it like to let that project out into the world? And because I think you were pretty proud of that one because it was a moment in time for you. Kind of told your story at that time.
Yeah, that was like 2 years of my life writing, just trying to find the best songs. And also, I think it was, it was really like production wise, such the lane that I've always wanted to be in, but I couldn't figure out how to get there. And I think meeting Johnny and kind of having him like uh, see the forest from the trees a little bit, and just be an outside perspective, really helped. And I am so proud of that one. And yeah, it's definitely my favorite body of work that I've put out yet. Yeah, and I'm really excited about it. So yeah.
Well, and one of my favorite songs off of it is your collaboration with Blakewood, which is where the tequila and everything comes from. Crazy as Me. How did that come to be, and what's it been like to see the reaction to that song?
That one's been nuts. But yeah, so Blake and I are signed to the same label branch, and to the same pub company. And basically, my team was like, "Hey, you should try to write a duet with Blake and see if you guys would make something cool together." And the only time we could both of our schedules worked out was like the day before my final recording session, for this project. So it was basically like, you guys get in there and write a duet, and if it's good, we'll record it. If not, like I had a backup song on the back
Yeah,
burner.
no pressure, right? No pressure
Yeah,
at all on
so
that.
we literally got in the room and we started writing a different song, and then we were like, I don't know if we like this. We were like in our heads about it. And then we ended up writing this song called Crazy as Me. And that was back in December of last year. And then it literally just sat on my hard drive until July. And it just was one of those crazy songs that just took on a life of its own. From the first time I posted it, it just started blowing up, and it kind of hasn't stopped, which has been absolutely nuts. And I'm so grateful. And I named my tour after it, and it's just been such a journey. And yeah, I love this one. It's probably been my most successful release to date. And yeah, super proud of it. Super grateful to Blake for doing that song and writing it with me. And yeah, really exciting.
And now you get tequila shots. It's a
And now
win-win-win.
there's tequila shots at my
I mean,
shows.
I see now. You just got to figure out the next thing, right?
Yeah. What else do I
Yeah.
want?
Now, another fun project that came out of your EP was Ring on the Table, and you were able to do a music video, which was in an old house. It was about as hot as could be in Nashville. What was it like to do that?
Well, yeah, I'm super proud of that song, and my amazing director, Sydney Tooley, love her to death. She is so freaking talented and amazing. But that set was very, very crazy that day. It was like a hot summer day in Nashville. It was a house that was about to be demolished, which was cool. It was a great idea because we could do whatever we want in that house. We were breaking glass, we were painting the walls, like it was a lot. So, but the house, because it's about to be demolished, it had no power and no water. So it was really, really hot, and we kept having to drive over to the gas station down the street to go to the bathroom. But it was an incredible shoot. I mean, that song covers a really, really intense topic of domestic violence, which has always been something that I wanted to sing about just because it is so real and it's impacted so many people and people in my family. And it's just something that's, if I can help one person, that would mean the world to me. So I really wanted to do this song justice with a video that would tell the story in a really real way. And Sydney like totally nailed it. And this was the first time I've ever had actors in one of my videos. So that was also very cool. It was pretty crazy watching like the words that I wrote to this story come to life. But it was an amazing experience. It was very sweaty, but it was wonderful. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say you'll never forget it for a multitude of
Yeah.
reasons. It's a, like you said, a lot of fantastic songs on the EP. One of the reasons why I was like, hey, I got to have her on here. I got to talk to her about
Okay.
things. And you co-wrote every song on the record. Why was that so important to you as well?
Well, I just love to write songs. Like today I wrote two songs. I tomorrow I'm writing two songs and Friday I'm writing two songs. So I just write a lot of songs. And that's besides touring, that's probably my favorite part of this whole thing. And I have always said that, I'm open to outside songs if they feel like the right fit, but it really does. I just feel like there's something to writing your own songs and then being able to emote them honestly because they came from a real place of your real life. And that has just been something that's always kind of worked for me when I write about what's real and what I'm feeling. So, yeah, I just love being a songwriter, and it's one of my favorite parts of my job for sure, if not my favorite. But yeah,
I was thinking as I did the intro, I was like, I should have said country singer and songwriter, but I guess artist doesn't encapsulate
yeah,
all of that.
either way.
Um, but when it does come to songwriting, you talk about those real life experience, but obviously like Ring on the Table, that may not be something you've gone through, but
Yeah.
other people have. So how does it work to bring those real life experiences, those ideas, or be vulnerable like with Porcelain and things like that?
Yeah, I mean it's a very interesting thing. Like a lot of songs are come from different places. Like Ring on the Table was inspired by someone in my family that had a pretty similar experience that I really pulled from that. A lot of these songs are from my past relationships, but it's interesting because I found myself writing about like maybe a relationship from 2 years ago now. Like looking back and being like, that was really messed up, and I'm gonna write about it today, even though you probably don't even care about me anymore, but like, whatever. you know, that's been an interesting thing. I've done that a lot lately, and I don't know, I write with a lot of my friends, like a lot of my best friends in real life, I write a lot of my songs with, and I think in that way, it's easy to be vulnerable because I can just come in and they know me, they know my life, they know all the characters and the side characters and the plots, and I can just be like, "This is happening! I can't even believe it!" And they'll like just start writing off of something I said, or you know what I mean. I think and I love writing with new people too, but I think a lot of my like most personal songs come with people that have known me for a while, you know.
Well, there's a comfort level there, and they know how to pull the songs out of you as well. And earlier you talked about working with Johnny Gates. He produced several songs on the album in addition to co-writing. He also worked with a very talented artist himself, Sam Grow. What was it like to work with those two on this EP?
It was awesome. This was the first time I'd ever recorded songs in a proper like studio environment with session musicians and like being in the room and everything. And that was really magical. Just so many talented people played on these. And Sam, we were in a different session for a couple singles that I released before this project, and they just started playing Porcelain, and that is one of my favorite songs in this project. And that was kind of like once we figured out that sound, that was kind of like the cornerstone for the rest of the project, like production wise. And I credit finding that sound really to Sam, which has been wonderful. And those two together worked so well. And yeah, I am super super grateful to both those guys for contributing to this. Yeah.
Well, and like I said, in addition to that EP, at the beginning of November, you put out "Bells on Bells," which is two of your favorite holiday songs. Why was that something you wanted to do?
Because I love Christmas. And I've been
Fair, that's
wanting to
fair.
put out holiday music forever, and I've never had the chance. And those pictures of me, the cover, that's from like 2 years ago because I've been wanting to put out Christmas music for so long. And
You
I've
were
never
determined.
I was, but I've never gotten it done in time. 'Cause you don't realize in order to release Christmas music, you have to like submit it in like August. you know? So anyway, I'm really, really proud of these. I love that they both have bell in them. I think that's really fun. And yeah, I am really excited about Christmas time and getting to play these. And yeah, it's just really fun for me. It's kind of a little passion project. Yeah.
So I'm guessing at some point there will be more Christmas songs in your future then.
Yeah, I've already written two for next year. So
I
we'll
love
see
it. I love to hear that. And then I got to ask, so
now.
if you love Christmas that much, do you have a tree up? Do you go crazy with the decorations? Where do you go? Oh, yep. Should have known. Don't even know why I asked. I love it. So tree, I mean, are you getting into the drinks as well? All the fun?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, my family takes Christmas seriously. We make some peppermint punch. We do all the things. My family's very Italian. We eat lasagna on Christmas Eve. That's kind of our deal. But yeah, it's fun. I always look forward to the holidays, and this has been such an amazing year. I am so grateful for everything that happened this year. But I am kind of looking forward to, taking a beat and chilling out a little bit and just getting ready for 2026. It's about to be like kind of crazy, but yeah.
Well, I was gonna say you just wrapped up your Crazy as Me tour. What was that like to have that, especially off the success of that song?
It was awesome. It was by far my favorite tour I've ever done. And this was the first time I've ever done a full tour just with me on stage and my guitar, which was a lot, but it really like allowed me to connect with people so much more than normal, So it was just really awesome. I had a great time. Everyone, you know, singing back the words to me to that song was like insane. I will like never forget that. Like that was so cool. And yeah, I feel like it was also really fun that, people see the viral videos and some people will see the viral videos and then take it as far as then figuring out who I am and then figuring out that I'm coming to their city and buying a ticket and showing up. I mean, that is like the pipeline of our dreams. You know what I mean? So that was like really fun, and I got to meet so many new people, and it was an awesome tour. I already kind of miss it. I can't believe it's over. It just ended on Friday, and I'm already like, when am I playing again? This is weird. Like, I don't know what to do with myself.
You're like, I want to take a break, but I also don't want to miss this. And this
Yeah,
was so fun.
I'm really bad at relaxing and taking a break, so I'm trying to work on that. But yeah,
Well, there's nothing that says you couldn't do a show here or there.
you
Just
never know.
you never know. You never know. Now you talked about it. Doing the acoustic shows for the majority of the tour, or all the tour. I know you also have done full band shows. What's it? How different are those for you? How do you approach those? Because that is a whole different thing, especially when you are the headliner. It's one thing if you're doing acoustic as kind of the opener for someone,
Yeah.
but it's another to be the headliner.
Yeah, it's very different for me. The full band shows, I can really rely on the musicians around me to bring the energy and bring the show with them, and all the guys in my band are just like the most fantastic musicians. Honestly, I'm so lucky, and it is so fun playing with them. And it's just different because when I'm up there by myself, it is really like a songwriter night. So I'm up there telling stories about how I wrote these, like what happened that sparked this idea, and how these all happened, or if there's a funny story with like a studio moment, or like something funny that like one of my songs went viral because it offended millions of people, and I tell that story, or you know what I mean? It's just, I think in a way, people that have been to both kind of prefer my acoustic shows because you get to hear like a lot of stuff that you probably wouldn't in a different setting. So in that way, I think that it's really fun for people, but it is definitely like it's just me, myself, and I out there. So like I'm gonna have fun with it and I'm gonna bring all the energy that I possibly can, but it's definitely maybe a little bit more pressure just because there's no one else around. And if yeah, but it's so fun though. I love it. Like, and I can try out new music, and no one has to learn new songs except me. So it's just kind of like I just kind of go rogue and do whatever I want up there for an hour and a half. But it's really fun.
I was gonna say it is you. You can guide the playlist. You can do the set list, everything like that. I love that, and you've also been able to share the stage with someone that you grew up enjoying, Miranda Lambert, Old Dominion, Jake Worthington, things like that. What's it been like to be up there with them, on tours and shows, and what's the best part about performing, for you?
Oh, it's been awesome. And I loved meeting Miranda 'cause she was like one of my idols since I was a kid. And she was so, so awesome. She was so nice. She was like so genuine and just made me love her even more meeting her, which was so fun. And yeah, like Jake Worthington, I just opened up for him a couple months ago. He was amazing too. His band, I mean, that's the fun part for me is just getting to meet these people that I look up to and sharing the stage with them. It's pretty awesome, and I just have so much fun up there doing these opening slots. But for me, I just love connecting with people on stage and like seeing people relate to something that I wrote or meeting people after. I love the connection. I think it's different than, you can post as many videos on social media and get, millions of likes and comments, but it's just different like actually meeting these people in person. Like it just makes so much of it worth it, you know?
Well, and
Yeah.
especially when they can see themselves in a story, especially maybe if it's this, a story like Ring on the Table, like you said. I mean, there's so many ways that they can connect to your music, and when they share that, that's pretty special. And I do have to ask. I've read that from touring, you've learned how to drive a 15-passenger van with a trailer, and also to always keep snacks in your backpack. So, are you still remembering the snacks? And can you still drive the van with the trailer? I gotta know.
Yes. Yep. I have done that for most of my life, actually. Now, I guess, I
Is
don't
that a
even know.
skill you ever thought you were gonna have? Like,
No, I can, like in that Lainey Wilson song, I can hook a trailer on a 2 inch. It's like, I can do that. Like, I can hook a trailer by myself. I pack a trailer. I do all the things. And you always do have to have snacks because you don't like there's just sometimes you just don't get to eat, like you just can't get food, like that is just sometimes that just happens. And if you don't have if you give me a granola bar, I'm good. Like a granola bar, I can that'll
you
get
can
me
get to
through
the next stop.
100%. Like a granola bar that can get me through a couple hours like of performing, but just at least a granola bar, that's all I need. But yeah, I do definitely still do all of those things.
I love that. I love that. Now, at
Yeah.
the beginning, I always have to ask what your go-to drink is. What's your favorite drink? We've learned you enjoy good craft beer.
Hmm.
Now, I got to ask, and it's always fun to hear the reactions to this question. What's your favorite song of yours to perform live right now?
Probably Crazy as Me. Um, yeah. And yeah, probably Crazy as Me. I just think it's really fun having a song that people immediately get excited when you start playing it and immediately start singing along. And I just think it's really fun. And yeah, that's probably my favorite right now, but it depends on the night though. Sometimes a certain song will really hit someone, in the heart, and I can see that person. Sometimes I can't see it all on stage, and we'll say the lights are so bright. Sometimes I can't see anything. But I don't know. Sometimes there will be a certain song that really connects with someone in the audience. Like my song Man Out of Me, does that quite a bit, and I love playing that one. That's probably my second favorite. Or my song He Gave Me a Ring. That one always hits. People really don't see that coming from me, so yeah.
See, if you didn't answer it, I was going to ask your second and your third, so you knew
There you
exactly
go.
what I was gonna ask. Now, you put out the EP, you put out the
Mm-hmm.
holiday EP, you did the
Yeah.
tour this year, so obviously I don't know what else folks can expect from you the rest of 2025. Also, there's like a month left, but for 2026, what can folks expect? It sounds like maybe some more new music, maybe some more shows, and a lot more fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of new music coming. I'm in the studio right now pretty heavily. I'm writing a ton, a lot of new shows. There is something coming that you guys will be a little shook, I will say. I can't say what it is, but I think you'll look back on this someday and know that that is what I'm talking about. But it's going to be a really, really fun year. It's going to be a crazy year. I am beyond excited for everything. And yeah, this is probably I love my last EP. This EP or album, I don't know yet, is a lot of tempos, a lot of dancey songs, which is going to be fun. I've been having a really fun time in the studio. So, yeah, lots of new stuff coming. Can't wait to share. But yeah, I'm really excited for 2026.
Well, if nothing else, you know how to make a good tease because that was fantastic. And because normally I always preface that with what you can tell us without getting yourself in trouble. You nailed that, and I love that. And I'm guessing all they need to do stay tuned to social media at some point. They'll get that hint and they'll know what you're talking about.
100%. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Well, Bells, thank you so much for sharing a drink with me, sharing your story. Your music's
Thank
fantastic,
you.
folks. If you haven't, give it a listen. You won't regret it. And cheers, cheers.
Cheers. Thanks for having me.